It's about time. It finally happened. Matthew, everyday audiophile, music lover, and beer enthusiast. Now, I don't have a beer with me today, but that won't stop me from talking about these boxes behind me. I've been bringing it up for a while, but I have finally received the 3 pieces I ordered from Audial. First, the bottom one was most likely the A21, their flagship integrated. The one above that, the A20, and then finally the S5b DA converter. Let's go ahead and get these unboxed so I can talk about them and introduce you to the rest of the family. And now that we've unboxed those 3 pieces, I can finally talk about all of this. It's probably fair to say I'm one of the few people in the world that will be able to talk about all of Pedja's pieces here from top to bottom. But more importantly, I think it shows that while I do enjoy tubes, I do enjoy all of these different components that I've had the privilege of listening to over the last decade. Something about his sound, how he designs his products, the sound that he's going for, it generally just agrees with my ear. But without further ado, let's talk about this stack. Now, I've arranged it in amps, the bottom 4 here, and DACs, the top 3 here. We're going to start with the DACs, and then we will move our way down into the amps. The S4 here on top was the first DAC that I got from him. It is a TDA 1541, same as the other 2 here. But what sets it apart is the first one that offered transformer balanced outputs. So if you look inside of this, there's actually 4 transformers. There's an isolation transformer, a power transformer, and then 2 balanced output transformers. On the S4, I actually chose to have the balanced outputs go to RCA instead because at the time I didn't have anything that could use balanced. But nonetheless, it is a wonderful DAC, and I still go back to it for its sound character. It does change slightly from the S4 to S5, and as I'm going to find out, the S5b, but they all share a same family sound. One thing to note on the S4 is that it is really, for all intents and purposes, USB only. You do have B and C, but why would you use that? Just stick with USB. And it is limited to 192.16. That is a stark difference from the 2 here, S5 and S5b, which will actually go up to 384.16. After I ordered the S4, I think it did become an option where you could choose a different clock so that you could accept 384, but this was before that time. Okay, next is the S5. The biggest differentiator from it to the S4 is an improved USB stage. It is truly one of the best that I've heard, and he offers way more inputs. I'm talking optical, BNC. He even has his own implementation of I2S on it. It is somewhat compatible, but not 100%. But other than that, it's really just improvements in the power stage. It measures just a little bit better in every regards compared to the S4. Now, the S5b, from my understanding, takes it just a little bit further. The biggest difference here is that Pedja did offer a full I2S input, and I will be trying that out. I'm super excited to try that with the Holo Audio Red streamer that I have. And I'm hoping that this becomes my new reference. I'm sure it will be, but I won't know until I listen to it. Moving into the amp section. these four. So first I'll point out these two in the middle. They are both A20s, but one of them is in silver and one of them is in black. The biggest difference between them is that this top one here is a version 1, I guess you could say, and the black one is more like a version 1.1. Between these two, Pedja decided to update the remote codes. So, but besides that, they're largely the same. The first amp here is the Model A, which was released in 2013, I do believe. In 2015, it was updated to have 10 amps of output, so it's actually quite a capable amplifier. It's 25 watts and 8 ohms, and it is a very, very nice sounding amplifier. I will go into it deeper in the review, but one of the interesting decisions with this one is that if you got it in as an integrated, as you can see here with the knob, it only had an input impedance of like 750 ohms. So it was really only meant to be used with DACs that had an extraordinarily low output impedance and could drive with a lot of current, which, as it so happened, all of his DACs do, so they fit the bill perfectly. Since then, I have changed it over to be just a stereo amplifier, and I actually have a replacement faceplate from Pedja that I will be replacing on this soon. Super excited. When we move into the A20, the wattage goes down from 25 watts to 20, but it maintains all of that character. Now we have a nice display that gives us the input and a nice volume encoder instead of the shunt potentiometer that we were using on the Model A. There's no balanced inputs on this, but it does have 5 inputs total compared to the 1 input that you get out of the Model A. You could have had 2 inputs as well. It would have been a little flip switch on the back. Going down here, the A21 is Pedja's reference integrated, and it shows with how heavy it is. As you can see, it is a much larger box than these other two. It is 100 watts instead of 20, and it has 2 sets of balanced inputs. That's all I can really say about it. I have not messed with it. I have not plugged it in yet. I will let y'all know what my thoughts are. But as far as reviews are going to go, I will probably break it down into 3 videos. First will be the DACs. I will talk about the S5b. I will compare it against the S5 and the S4. And I will compare these 3 DACs against the live DAC, as well as something like a topping DAC. Something that's way cheaper, but something that's a lot more accessible for anyone to listen to. Very excited about these 3 for sure. The next video will be the A20 against the Model A. I will include some references to my current system, which uses the EL84 monoblocks from Triad Lab, but that is just so that we have something to go back to from previous videos. Finally, I will do a review on the A21. This is the one I'm most excited about, but unfortunately the one that I will probably have to wait the longest for as I finish all of these reviews first. I hope to get them done in short order though, and I can't wait to share with you my thoughts about them. Until then, see ya.